people, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. It's great to have you in my little corner of YouTube where we speak all things adulting, faith and lifestyle. Before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button. That red button must turn gray. Give this video a massive thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Comment down below what you enjoyed about today's video and what other videos you'd like to see. Share this with anybody and everybody who you think might need it. And last but not least, hit those notification bells so that you do not miss another video. So without wasting any more time, let us get straight into today's video. So we're back again with another sit down, and today's one is one that I've been procrastinating to record for the last 3 months, and I have no reason why. But essentially today's video is all about the things that you should consider when it's time to decide whether to leave your job or whether to stay in your job. These are things that I thought about, and obviously the list is much longer than this, but these are the high level things that I noted and that I did a lot of thinking and introspecting and praying and all of that stuff about when I was making the decision to stay in consulting or whether to move into banking. So for a bit of background for those who are new here, I am an ex-management consultant currently working in banking. I was a strategy consultant for 3 years, and I recently, 2.5 months ago, moved into banking, where I am a senior strategy analyst within one of the big 4 banks in South Africa. So without wasting any more time, let's get into the first thing that I noticed or noted down when I needed to decide whether to stay in consulting or whether to move into banking. The one thing I want to highlight first before I actually go into these points is when I speak about changing jobs, sometimes I'm speaking or I'm referring to changing teams within the company that you're working at, maybe changing jobs from, maybe in the same firm or different firms, same industry, or making a complete career pivot. So myself, I made a complete career pivot. Yes, it's still strategy focused, but from consulting into banking, right? Whereas you might go from a Deloitte to a KPMG, still in consulting, or you might move from the energy team into the financial services team, for example. So think of it from that landscape or from that lens, as opposed to just jumping from one company to the other, because there are more opportunities even within the company that you're working at that you can consider. Instead of having to do the whole overhaul of moving into a different company, there are a whole lot of things that you need to consider before moving into a different company and changing. Anyway, now I'm going to go on a tangent. Let's not get into that. Let's get into the first thing that you should consider when you are deciding whether to stay in your current role or to move into a different role or into a different job or move companies or so forth, or change your career altogether. The first thing that you should consider is whether you are still growing within that current role. At the beginning of my career, I sat down and wrote out some things that I wanted to hit, some things that I wanted to develop at my time, at my current job in consulting. I wanted to learn how to present better. I wanted to work on my research skills. I wanted to learn how to build PowerPoints. I wanted to learn how to build business collateral that can be, leveraged by businesses when making business decisions. I wanted to learn how to network. I wanted to learn how to communicate better. I wanted to learn how to speak up for myself. I wanted to learn how to mentor other people. And, that was fine and it was happening for the longest time until I actually got promoted to a senior associate. I know this doesn't make sense, but when I reached senior associate level, I felt like I was no longer growing. I felt like I was still doing what I was doing as a junior associate. And I had multiple conversations about, the things that I want to develop as I've moved up now into senior associate level and so forth. And, conversations were had, but there was no action or output from it, not necessarily from my end, but from the end of the people that were supposed to give that output and to actually invest in some of those things, right? So I felt like I had hit a ceiling. I had learned everything I needed to learn as an associate. I had learned everything that I had set out for myself. And even with the conversations and trying to prove myself and so forth, I felt like I was stuck. For a good 6 to 9 months, I felt like I was stuck. Not learning anything, not doing anything, not gaining anything, just coming and doing the same thing each and every single day without feeling like I'm growing, without feeling like I'm challenged and so forth. So I think that was like the point of frustration for me where I just wasn't growing. And if you know me and if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I'm big on developing yourself each and every day, finding something new to learn. How, like, every day is a school day. That used to be my motto, and I felt like I was not in school every day anymore, which was concerning. And I think that's the biggest thing that I realized when it was time to decide whether to leave or not. The next thing that I had to think about was whether I was feeling fulfilled or not. And before I get into explaining and unpacking what this means, I want to highlight that not every job is going to be exciting. We live in a world where you have to accept whatever job is, you know, knocking on your door. And not every job is going to be fulfilling. Not every job is going to make you want to jump out of bed each and every day. Sometimes you're just in a job because you have to put food on the table, you have kids to feed, you have a husband and a wife to feed and provide for, you have your parents to feed and so forth. So sometimes jobs won't be fulfilling. But I was at a point where I had the freedom to be able to say, hey, I feel like I'm a hamster on a wheel, not getting excited, not getting stimulated. I'm not feeling fulfilled anymore. And I then was able to make the steps to kind of look. First, I looked within the company instead of actually moving out, you know. So when I say that you can actually look at changing teams in a company, changing divisions and so forth, then do that first before you decide to, you know, make a massive jump from one company to another. Because the admin is so much. Not just the admin, just the change of environment. All of it is, it's a lot. So consider some things inside the firm that could be fulfilling, could be exciting, could feel like at the end of the day, you can go home and say, wow, I made a change. Wow, I learned something. Wow, I'm making a difference in our clients' businesses. If you feel like you're not, then it's time to sit down and be honest with yourself. And that's the point that I was at, where I wasn't feeling fulfilled anymore. I just felt like I was doing checkbox exercises and activities each and every single day without feeling stimulated. I didn't feel like I was in school every single day. I didn't feel like I was learning. I didn't feel like I was a junior. And I was in the years, or I believe that like your 20s are the critical years for you to learn the most. You need to be doing backflips at work. You need to be learning so much. And yes, some years will be better than others, but you need to be at a point where like you're laying the foundation from a knowledge-based perspective, a skill set perspective, and so forth. You're laying that foundation in your 20s that will carry you throughout the rest of your career, right? And before I go on, I just want to note that if you're watching this and you're in your 30s, it's not too late to change, right? It's not too late to try and make a pivot. It's not too late to think of going into other things that are exciting. It's just when you're in your 20s, it's easier. You know, when you're in your 30s, there's more responsibilities on your plate. And that's why I'm saying your 20s are critical when it comes to building the foundation for your career. So if you are going to feel like you're stuck, you're not making a difference, you're not feeling fulfilled, you're not feeling excited to get out of bed, you're dragging yourself to work each and every day in your 20s, I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, anyway, without belaboring that point, if you are feeling unfulfilled in your job, perhaps it's time to sit down and figure out what would be fulfilling to you and move into something that might be exciting, might be more fulfilling, might be more stimulating, might be more exciting, because you don't want to feel like you're dragging yourself to work for the next 50 years of your career. I personally wouldn't want to. So yeah. Anyway, the third thing that I would note is the environment. Is the environment still conducive, not just for your growth, but for your health as well? Is it an environment where you have open lines of communication with your superiors? Is it an environment where you feel like you can set certain boundaries that are healthy? Is it an environment where you feel like you're being stretched to reach your, best or your top performing, whatever, capacity and so forth? If it is not an environment that is conducive to your growth, if it is not an environment that is conducive to your health, I would be concerned. I would be alarmed. This, fortunately for me, wasn't something that was a big thing on my list. The environment I was in was still somewhat healthy. For the time being, it was somewhat healthy. And I think it wasn't something that I had to like sit and think about and, you know, invest a lot of time thinking in, because it was a no-brainer for me. You know, I had a good relationship with my superiors, a good relationship with the rest of the team. But if you are in a position where coming to work is miserable because they're treating you horribly, you are not, it's even affecting how you're looking at yourself. Things like that are very important and very crucial to your growth as a young professional. So if it is a toxic environment, try and get out if you can. If it is an environment where you feel like you are clashing with your coworkers and everyone is just trying to win for themselves and not sharing work and not sharing, you know, growth opportunities and so forth, then I'd be concerned. If it is an environment where you just come in, sit at your desk, do what you need to do and get out for 40 years, I don't know. If you feel like you can do that, rather you than me. But I don't want to be in an environment where I feel like I can't speak my mind, I can't voice things, I can't ask for things, I can't ask for more opportunities, I can't have difficult conversations because the environment just isn't conducive. I don't want to find myself in that. If you can, sure, stay where you're at. If you can't, perhaps sit down and consider whether it's time to leave, whether it's time to change teams, whether it's time to change firms, whether it's time to change jobs altogether. And the one thing I want to highlight, and I've said this in a video before, I don't know if my time in consulting has come to an end. I might go back when I feel like I've learned enough in banking. I don't know. I really don't know. But I do feel like banks are a great place. It's fertile soil to learn more and get your hands dirty. And you can learn just as much in consulting as you did in banking or vice versa. So I don't know if my time in consulting is over. I might decide to go back at a later stage in the coming years and so forth. But for now, I'm speaking from a place where I'm kind of trying to settle in banking for a while, because I feel like now I've set a lot of things that I want to learn in banking that are part of my career plan. That leads me to the next thing that I want to chat about when it comes to deciding whether to change jobs or not. What does your career plan say? When you started this job, what did you set for yourself? What growth targets did you set for yourself? What are the timelines that you set for yourself? Did you tell yourself you're going to be here for 3 years? Did you tell yourself you're going to be here for 10 years? Did you tell yourself you're only going to leave after doing 5 projects? Did you tell yourself that you're only going to leave or, you know, decide to pivot into another team after you've been exposed to 5 industries? What are the things that you set for yourself in your career for the time that that you were at that company? If you sat down with yourself and said, I'm going to be in consulting for 3 to 5 years, I'm going to be in accounting for 5 to 10 years, I'm going to be in trading at a bank for 10 years, and your 10 years has hit, take a step back, sit down with yourself and figure out, okay, do I have the things, or have I developed the things that I wanted to develop? Have I developed the skill set that I want to develop? Have I developed the network that I want to develop here? And if yes, perhaps it's time to go and challenge yourself in a new environment, in a new job, in a new career altogether. If you haven't, find out why you haven't, why it's taking you longer than you thought it would, and then take steps to get you to where you want to be before leaving. Don't leave a job prematurely. Don't leave a job hastily because somebody said something bad to you. If you have not yet reached the targets that you wanted to reach for yourself there, stay. Don't rob yourself of those opportunities to learn in that job simply because somebody rubbed you the wrong way. I don't know. I don't think that's a good enough reason to rob yourself of the opportunity to grow in a career that you actually wanted to grow in and that you actually wanted to be exposed to. Anyway, moving on to the last point. If the environment, or if your job is having a ripple effect, a negative ripple effect onto your health, then I would consider changing jobs. If it is affecting you negatively from a mental health perspective, a physical health perspective, an emotional health perspective, if it's affecting your relationships, if it's affecting your sleep, if it's affecting things that should not be affected, I would then raise my eyebrows at you and say, why are you still there? Yeah, guys, I think I don't need to explain this any further, but If you are burnt out consistently, if you are suffering from insomnia, if your anxiety levels are always at a high, then I would be worried, because that is very unsustainable. If you're working until 2 a.m. each and every morning, that is unsustainable. Your body is unable to take care of you if you're not taking care of it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. I'm not going to go into any more regarding that. That one is self-explanatory. If your job is affecting you health-wise in all aspects of your health, then I would consider sitting down and deciding whether it's time to change, whether internally or externally. If that change needs to be done, make it happen. So before closing out this video, I just want to highlight that I am aware that we are living in a climate, or an economic climate, where you can't just hop from one job to another. The job market is rife at the moment. So when considering these things, and when thinking about moving jobs or not, take that economic climate into consideration. Don't lose heart. It is going to take some longer than others to find a new job. If you want to change jobs, it might take you longer because, I don't know, sometimes people or companies advertise roles when they already have someone internally that they want to hire. You know, there's so much nepotism, corruption, favoritism, all of it that is happening within corporate right now. So keep those at the back of your mind before embarking on this journey. And I say that because it's not an easy journey to embark on. Changing jobs, looking for a new job, the job market is not cute. I don't know how else to say it or to put it, but it's not a cute environment out there. So be prepared for that uphill battle when you are going out and looking for jobs. And I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm not saying that for you to feel comfortable in your stagnation at your current job. I'm just calling a spade a spade. It's not a great environment to kind of be looking for a job at the moment, and I don't know if it's ever going to recover, or if it's going to recover anytime soon. Let me put it like that. It might recover, but I don't know if it's going to recover anytime soon. So if you're going to wait for it to recover, you might wait forever. And that's why I'm saying, just take the leap of faith if you need to take the leap of faith. Call that recruitment agency if you need to call that recruitment agency. Send that hiring manager an email if you need to. Reach out to people on LinkedIn if you need to. Leverage your network in all ways possible if you need to, because sometimes just putting in an application for a job is not going to get it for you. Like, it might not be enough. Sometimes you need to know someone on the other side. Sometimes you need to have an extra degree to push you even further in. It sucks, I know, but those are the realities that we are currently facing, and unfortunately it is what it is. So yeah, anyway, before I close the video, please drop down below some of the considerations that you have in mind when you are thinking of changing jobs. What caused you to change a job? What is causing you to think of changing jobs right now? Is it finances? Is it location? Is it ways of working? Are they telling you to come back to work full time, but you are thriving in the hybrid working space? Or, you know, the hours are too long and you want to focus on your side hustles and build that into something that can actually be a full-time gig for you? What are things that you are considering when it's time to move jobs? What are things that you've considered in the past when it was time to move jobs, or when you were deciding whether to move jobs? I would definitely love to hear more about that in the comment section below. So let us have that conversation. Do not keep things to yourself. Don't gatekeep, because that is not cute. Okay, with that, we've reached the end of today's video. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share this with anybody and everybody who you think might need it. And with that, with so much love and so much light from me to you, have an amazing rest of the day. Stay safe and God bless. Bye, guys.